Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Angel Chewin Love, here bringing you your AEW Dynamite review for October 21st, 2020. Was a great show, great edition of Dynamite. We had the first round of the AEW World Title Tournament. Um, Great match between uh, Pentagon and his brother Ray Phoenix. That was a great match. Not condolences, but best wishes to Joey Janela. Apparently, he came in contact with someone that was tested positive for COVID at an independent show, which is why he was pulled from his first round match with Kenny Omega, and instead we got Kenny Omega for Sun Kiss. That was over in the blink of an eye. If you stepped out for like a second, which I did, you have missed the match basically. We also got confirmation of the or more for Full Gear. We also had that tag team match, that heck of tag team match, 4 corners to determine who will face FTR at Full Gear for the tag team titles. Bunch to go over, as well as the funny dinner between Chris Jericho and MJF. Go over all that on the podcast today. Again, thank you for joining me. If you're new, like and subscribe. Click on that bell for notifications for your pro wrestling reviews as well as sports reviews and predictions. With that, thank you all, and let's get into the podcast, shall we? So, the show started off with one of the first round matches in the tournament, AEW World Title Eliminator. Wardlow versus Jungle Boy. This was an intriguing match based on the styles between the two. Also, they have history because the one common denominator, MJF, Jungle Boy has had history with, as well as the rest of Jurassic Express. Of course, Jungle Boy and MJF had that great match at Double or Nothing. And Jurassic Express and face off against MJF and Wardlow at Fyter Fest. So there's history there. But this was a nice little match, back and forth. Obviously, the contrast of styles. Jungle Boy trying to chop down big Wardlow. He did do some good spots. One of the spots in the match, Jungle Boy was caught in midair, and Wardlow delivered a buckle bomb to Jungle Boy on the back of the ring post on the outside of the ring. Nice spot. Wardlow hit a gut-wrench powerbomb as well. Then Jungle Boy got some offense. Missile dropkick to the back of Wardlow. Knocked him out of the ring. Tope Suicida to the back of Wardlow. Had Wardlow on his heels. Then he hit a tornado DT on Wardlow. Then Wardlow went for, I think, maybe a fireman's carry, something off the top rope. And then Jungle Boy countered into a top rope Frankensteiner. And then a diving knee strike for a 2 count. Then they were fighting on the outside on the ramp. And then Wardlow delivered the F10 on Jungle Boy. Threw him from outside of the ring back to the inside of the ring. and then followed up with another F10 pin Jungle Boy 1-2-3, and Wardlow advances to the second round of the AEW World Title Eliminator. He would go on to face the winner of the later match between Colt Cabana and Hangman Adam Page. So, next up we had a little bit of post-show last week. We had Eddie Kingston following up on his attack on Jon Moxley and challenged Moxley to an I Quit match for the AEW World Championship at Full Gear. And then we basically got confirmation for that match. I mean, should be a fun match. Obviously, Eddie Kingston didn't tap in their match weeks ago. Moxley, he beat Lance Archer last week. So, should be an interesting match. This is obviously likely a match to get Moxley from Eddie Kingston to the winner of the tournament, which, if I have to put money on, I'm guessing it's Kenny Omega. So, next we had a nice little vignette of Moxley talking about Eddie Kingston. Said there was not one person more proud than him when Eddie Kingston was signed to AEW. Ran down his accolades. He talked about them being friends. And then Moxley said he doesn't recognize this person that Eddie Kingston's become. This whole big, bitter liar. And then Moxley talked about how he doesn't apologize for buying his mom a house and providing a better life for his family. Hinting, of course, going to WWE, and that Moxley won't stop, that apparently it'll be an I Quit match at Full Gear. He won't stop until he gets his friend back, or he just won't quit, and that when it's all over, Eddie Kingston only has himself to blame. Again, Moxley's always a good promo. He's basically been AEW's leader since the pandemic started, and every time Moxley does a promo, it turns into gold, and he doesn't need a script. He can just go up. Same for Eddie Kingston. He can just go out there and say what he needs to say, as well as MJF. He can just say what he needs to say, maybe some bullet points, and he can turn promo into gold as always. So, next up, okay. So, like I said, if you had stepped out for something, if you had gone to make some dinner or something, if you had to sneeze, if you blinked, you would have missed this match. And I guess for good reason. So we had Sun Kiss versus Kenny Omega, first round match in the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. Of course, Joey Janela, like I said earlier, he came in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID. So Sun Kiss slide right in. This one, I had gone to the restroom, and next thing you know, I hear Kenny Omega's won. So I look back, and Kenny Omega, he won with a V trigger and then a one-winged angel right off the bat. But I think the bigger story was his entrance. I mean, the cleaner is back for Kenny Omega. We had uh, Justin Roberts run down all of Kenny Omega's accolades, which probably took it was probably more than the match itself. So he ran down the accolades of Kenny Omega. Then there were two. I would say, because I saw a picture on social media of Hikaru Shida posing with one of these ladies. They're probably AEW talent or Japanese talent, New Japan. I'm not sure, but there were these two ladies with brooms, because of course cleaner, and then there was this silhouette of Kenny Omega right before he came out, and just looked great. The cleaner, known it's back. Kenny Omega, like I said, V Trigger, One Winged Angel. That was all she wrote. Kenny Omega, his facial expression looked like he was bored almost. And we're getting the little teaser of Kenny Omega turning heel. And again, just good performance. So next we had a Orange Cassidy promo. This was funny. Why? Because if you're a Patriots fan like me, then yeah. So Tony Schiavone asked Orange Cassidy about his match with Cody last week, and Orange Cassidy said, "Sometimes things don't go your way," and then he was asked about the match next week and if things will be different. And then Orange Cassidy said, "On to Cincinnati." And then Tony Schiavone said, "Well, we're going to be in Jacksonville." So Orange Cassidy said, "Whatever." And that was it. Funny Orange Cassidy. I can't wait for the match next week, the rematch, Cody versus Orange. Obviously, Darby Allin's going to get a title shot at Full Gear. Maybe it's another time limit, and then we get a triple threat at Full Gear. I'm not sure, but that would be an interesting development. So, next up, then we had Dasha Gonzalez catch up with Cody and Arn Anderson earlier in the day, arriving to the arena, and Dasha asks about the weight gain of Cody because he's put on 14 extra pounds. Cody talked about how need to be more in the heavyweight mindset because AEW is more of a light heavyweight company. And that he also talked about the rematch, how it was all sudden, how AEW wants the rematch between Orange Cassidy and Dax particularly like it. And that was all from Cody. Next up, we had Eddie Kingston responding to Jon Moxley. He laughed off Moxley's promo, and then after that, he praised his boys, Ray Phoenix and Pentagon. He also praised Butcher and the Blade. Says that later tonight they will beat or win the Four Corners #1 Contenders match for tag team titles. They will beat. Sorry, my phone went off. There was that. So, anyway, back to the promo by Kingston. So he praised Butcher and Blade, and then he talked about that. That once they beat FTR for tag team titles, then FTR will be crawling back to his old boss, and that begging for their jobs back. So then he told Moxley that he had to become who he was. That what Moxley said was true. Said that he needed to be a liar. He needed to be bitter in order to get what he wanted. And now he's getting an AEW World Title shot. And it'll be an I Quit match. And that Eddie Kingston has never quit in his life. And that Moxley will need to go to a dark place on November 7th. And that Kingston lives in that dark place. Kingston. He always has a good promo as well. Again, I'm looking forward to the match. Next up, the match of the night. It's hard to put into words, but Penta El Zero, aka Pentagon, versus Ray Phoenix. I mean, with A. Kingston on commentary, this was, two brothers coming out and performing when the stakes are high. And this match just, wow. Couldn't put into words, but I'll try. So, the third first round match of the AEW World Title in there. This was all over the place and so many good spots. So Phoenix, so they were going back and forth. They exchanged chops. Phoenix then, as the match progressed, he went for a springboard, but was caught in midair by a super kick for a near fall. Then he dived to the outside in a way only Phoenix could do. Penta, he hit a sling blade off the middle rope for a 2 count. Then Phoenix, when they were both on the top rope, landed a head scissors, and Phoenix looked like he was dazed and landed on his head from his head scissors. And I tell you, if Phoenix was dazed, you can't say much about Phoenix. He's just, the way he finished the rest of this match, just, I don't know. Then Phoenix hit a top rope Spanish fly onto Penta for a near fall. Then Phoenix, who was running toward Pentagon, he did, I'm not sure how to describe it. It was like a sit out, and then Phoenix flipped through the air, and then it was a power bomb by Penta for a near fall. Then Pentagon went for his classic breaking the arm type finisher or signature. And then, I mean, there were moments in this match where, because they're brothers, where they felt sorry for each other and they were reluctant. And then Penta, the big brother, he hesitated to go for the finish, and then Phoenix said, or Penta said zero, Mero, went off the ropes, came for the finish, and then Phoenix countered in like a crucifix position, and then landed a beautiful Canadian destroyer and pinned Penta 1, 2, 3. And so in the second round of the tournament, you get Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix, which should be a hell of a match. Probably a match of your candidate. Penta lost to his younger brother, but nonetheless, this was a great match. Can't say much. Hard to put into words. It was just, I mean, two brothers putting their feelings aside for the high stakes. Can't say much. So next, there was a interview with Dark Order members, Colt Cabana, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver. So Colt Cabana talked about chasing opportunities and talked about his friends, Reynolds and Silvers, getting their opportunity. And John Silvers is like, I don't like you, but we're doing this for the Dark Order. So then Silvers, he was flexing. He tried to get a Colt Cabana chant. I mean, Silvers is hilarious. The most hilarious member of the Dark Order. Not really much to say. So then after that, we got the final first round match of the AEW World Title Tournament. Colt Cabana versus Hangman on Page. So this was probably I would say the least favorite of the other matches. First round matches of the night. I mean, they were trading back and forth. Nothing really new from each guy. Colt, he went for the Big Apple, but was countered into a German with a bridge for a 2 count. Page, Evil Uno was on the stage area cheering on Colt Cabana. Page, he went for an acai moonsault off the top rope onto Colt, who was on the outside, but Colt dumped Page onto the ring apron and then delivered a splash from the ring apron. Nice spot. And then Page, he tried twice to hit the buckshot lariat, but Colt countered twice. And then the third time was a charm. He faked out Colt and then hit him with the buckshot lariat for the win. Page advances. So interesting 2 matches in the semifinals of the tournament. So first we got Kenny Omega and Rey Fenix on one side. Then we got Wardlow versus Hangman on Page. 2 intriguing matchups. Obviously, I'm more intrigued about Omega and Phoenix, but interesting way for the tournament. So then we had a little vignette of Sammy Guevara. We had like a board of, I would say, images of Matt Hardy on a wall and covered in blood, and a bunch of headlines about Matt Hardy. And then Sammy Guevara was talking about how he won't stop until he ends Matt Hardy. And then he set these images on fire with a lighter. So there was that. Apparently, we got an elite deletion match at Full Gear between Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy. Some stipulation match should be interesting. I just hope that they've learned their lesson and they don't try to do any crazy spots like they did at All Out. Obviously, that one spot with Matt Hardy. So next we had segment of Team Tazz. They were on the stage. What they were upset. They talked about how they had two problems. First was Will Hobbs, how they haven't heard from Will Hobbs about his decision last couple weeks. And they're waiting for a decision. And Taz wonders if Hobbs is a big shot now, waiting for his opportunity, and that Hobbs will make up his mind soon. Next, Taz voices discretion how Darby Allin, because he beat Ricky Starks, is getting a title shot at Full Gear and not Ricky Starks. So he went over how Starks has won 9 out of his last 10 matches. The loss being to Darby Allin. Now, why is Darby getting everything he needs and wants? And what about Cage? What about Ricky Starks? And then so Starks took the microphone, and said how someone's going to pay, and it won't be AEW, it won't be Tony Khan, it'll be Darby Allin, and that he will absolutely kick the living crap out of Darby Allin, put him in the grave finally. The little half face painted little bitch that he is. That's what Starks said. Starks can cut a hell of a promo. I would love to see him vie for the TNT Championship in the future. Perhaps this may lead to Starks costing Darby at the pay-per-view. I'm not sure, but interesting dynamic. Next, we had this glorious segment between Chris Jericho and MJF. First of all, I want to say it's sad to admit this, but it's true that this match or this segment between Chris Jericho and MJF was more entertaining than anything Monday Night Raw, SmackDown pretty much have done all year, at least recently. So, be that as it may, so I think they were still in the Jacksonville area, maybe in Daniel's place. So there was a background. They were at a table tasting wine waiting to take their order. And this lady, Velma, comes up to take their order. MJF says that he's had better wine. And so they go back and forth. So MJF first orders a 20-ounce porterhouse steak, well done, with a baked potato. So then Chris Jericho follows up and orders a 20-ounce porterhouse steak, medium well, with medium well, with a baked potato. And they go back and forth, trading their orders. MJF wants medium. Chris Jericho wants medium rare. MJF wants rare. And then Chris Jericho wants blue. So there's that. I like my steak medium rare to medium well. That's my preference. But, I mean, I like a little pink in my steak. But that's my preference. So they go back and forth after making their orders. So they talked about how there will be a town hall meeting for the Inner Circle next week, deciding on whether MJF is going to join or not. So then Chris Jericho told MJF to cut the crap, how he hasn't been nice to anyone, whether it be the valet, the old lady down the stairs. It was hilarious. So then, next thing you know, they cut to a musical number, a Broadway musical number, and they were just going back and forth. I wasn't able to cover it, but it was just hilarious. They were going back and forth, and then all of a sudden, the backdrop opens, and then there's dancers, and hard putting words, but it was just hilarious. So for the next few minutes, it was just hilarious. And then next, they cut back to the table. Velma, she comes back with their orders, and they both have uncooked steaks with baked potatoes and then MJF says, yeah, this is not cooked. This is rare, like rare. So then Chris Jericho says, oh, we're going to have to send it back. So then in sync, they say, Velma. And then that was how probably a trumpet. And then that was how the segment ended. So that was hilarious, like I said. This segment was better than anything WWE has done, or mostly Raw and SmackDown have done basically all year. And it's sad, but true. So, anyway, so we got from that to Britt Baker. She was with Reba. She faced Cotton King. Now, Cotton King, she's been on Dark. She's been okay. She's looked good at times. So, but it was Britt Baker versus Cotton King. Kind of quick match. Britt Baker won with the lockjaw. She was wearing pink because of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And then she actually, for the lockjaw, she had a pink glove for the lockjaw. So interesting. But Britt Baker wins. Good showing by Colin King, though. So next we had a vignette of Darby Allin with Steve-O, and they were... Now, Steve-O's kind of a crazy celebrity. He will do outlandish things. So they were in like a skate park, indoor skating facility. And Darby Allin, he attempted to roll to the bottom of a skating ramp in a body bag. Only Darby will do Darby things. And Darby did it. And Darby, after he got out of the body bag, said, "I'm not losing at Full Gear." So that was fun. That was odd, but as long as Darby's okay, that's the main thing. Then we go to the main event. Four Corners match for number one contendership for the tag team titles. Butcher and Blade versus Private Party versus Reynolds and Silvers versus Joe the Young Bucks. This was a interesting for the start. FTR, they were on commentary. Back and forth. Not very much until the pace picked up. Mark Quinn, he hit a shooting star. He probably has the best shooting star in the business. On to Blade for a 2 count. Silvers, he had a good showing. He was attacking everybody after basically being a one-man wrecking crew. That was not his partner. So then Reynolds and Silvers hit a jackknife cover combo onto Private Party for a near fall. Silly string, and then a double dive by Private Party for a near fall. Nick Jackson, he dove on Butcher and Blade. Super kick party on Butcher. Meltzer driver senton combo for a near fall by the Bucks. Then the Bucks, they went for a Meltzer driver on Mark Quinn. Like the way they were eliminated from the tag team tournament, Quinn countered, but then Matt Jackson countered, and they won the match. They're new number one contenders. Praise the Young Bucks. They did after they were attacked by FTR and Tully Blanchard, and that was how the show went off the air. So that was the review. Thank you for joining me. I'm Joe2 in Love, and